Hello, my name is Michele Rochon-Wood, and this is my presentation for Work Environment Communications COM 2017. My presentation is on the topic of emotional intelligence. Is happiness possible in the workplace? This is a question that I've asked myself on numerous occasions, and I'm pleased to say that in my personal research of emotional intelligence and the workplace, I have learned that it is possible. But I also was able to uncover some of the reasons that it's so difficult. And they pretty much mostly have to do with emotional intelligence. And I'm going to tell you about that in this presentation. So, what makes the workplace an unhappy place? Is it that we have to work when we're there? No. Is it the fact that we're not with our family or friends or pets? Nope. Is it because of our managers? Are they to blame? Nope. Or the people who work for us, our subordinates? No, not them either. And it's not even our teammates or the vending machine. And I'm happy to say, it's not even you. These things are present in all workplaces, happy and unhappy. So they're not the reason. Emotional intelligence is defined by the Harvard Business Review as the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotions of those around you. I don't fully agree with that definition, and I'm going to show you some of the ways that I have discovered are helpful in defining emotional intelligence. The term was first coined in 1990 by John Mayer and Peter Salovey, and later popularized by psychologist Daniel Goleman. Now, what exactly is it? I think of it as having self-awareness and other awareness. That's the basics anyway. Now, the joys, the motivations, the threats, the ambitions, the disappointments, the fears, the shame, the inadequacies, and the frustrations all deal with how emotionally intelligent you are. If you can answer all these questions about you and about others, you have the basics of emotional intelligence. If you know what they enjoy, what drives them, what makes them defensive, what do they want out of life, what shatters their hopes and dreams, what terrifies them, what do they wish wasn't true about themselves, and what drives them nuts. If you can answer every single one of those questions about you and others, you have what it takes to perform in emotional intelligence. Now, what is it at home? And the reason I distinguish the two of them is because they are different. They come with different expectations from the people in your life and different responsibilities. At home, an emotionally intelligent adult is able to organize their thoughts and respond to the challenges of life with an appropriate plan of action. And they're also able to execute that plan without panicking or curling up into a fetal position on a nearby floor. They can successfully manage a household, earning an income, budgeting their costs, managing interpersonal conflict, and investing in healthy relationships with people in the household and the community. Now, I'm going to tell you why it's different at work. A little bit more is at stake at work for you personally. And you might think that that's backwards, but when you look at human behavior, the behavior shows you that more is at stake emotionally for the working adult in their workplace, which makes emotional intelligence more difficult. Work is where you produce what you're most proud of and also what you're most sensitive about. Work is where you experience the most rejection, criticism, conflict, and failure. Work is where you process the worst of these experiences, including handling conflict and managing stress and disappointment. Work is also where your future hangs in the balance. They can take your livelihood away at any time for no reason at all. And that's a reality that you have to come to accept and try to work through the anxieties that you might have about that. Coworkers, sadly, can make your life miserable if they want to, and often they do. That's why it's harder at work. Now, most workplaces don't use the term emotional intelligence. This is the vernacular that they use. They'll say things like team player, a fast-paced environment, multiple competing deadlines. They'll talk about problem solving. They will talk about swimming in the deep end of the pool immediately. They'll talk about multitasking. They'll talk about being hardworking and having a good work ethic. They'll talk about you being self-motivated and independent and a fast learner. All of those things are included under the topic of emotional intelligence. Now, we don't have time to go through each and every one of these. Take a picture of the slide. There's some really good tips here on how to learn emotional intelligence from a behavioral perspective. If you learn these, you're going to do a lot better in terms of how you perform at work and how you cope with stress and disappointment. Now, I have this great exercise that I do where we pretend that we're inside of the brain of a working person, and we go through a fun game where we pretend to be individual emotions. We won't be doing that today, but hopefully you'll be able to see this exercise being done on the campus soon. I provide workshops of these type for students. Thank you for listening. I'm Michele Rochon-Wood, and this has been my presentation on emotional intelligence. Thanks.